Good evening. This is Point Blank here at KTN News, shooting from the Nairobi Serena with Mheshimiwa Moses Kuria, who says it as he sees it. Mheshimiwa, there has been a standoff in the last couple of weeks between the National Assembly and the Senate with regard to cash for counties. Give us a bird's eye view of where Moses Kuria is on this debate.
I am for changing the Constitution to change the wording of how much money should be sent to counties to not more than as opposed to not less than. Because as long as the wording is like that, we'll keep on fighting. I mean, why should we be fighting about things which are scientific? It's supposed to be empirical. You just get the last declared or the last audited account, multiplied by 15%. I don't mind if we change it to 25% or 20 or whatever, but we cap it so that it is scientific. Why should we be discussing?
Could we say that that is another question for, obviously, there will be a referendum?
It is most important.
Right now, I hear you.
It's the most important one right now.
Yeah, where we are now, is this standoff solvable?
It is solvable if Senate stops trying just to justify its existence. Because that's what they're doing. So as people say, why is there Senate? Oh, you see them every year fighting to increase from 310 to 336. And you know, they are doing that, but they're not playing their role for oversight.
Now, Mheshimiwa, that is a matter I didn't want to spend too much time on. I want to come straight to food security. Mheshimiwa, these maize shortages and politics of maize, you know, KIUNJURI was in the media the other day. I mean, before him, every other minister. Why can't we get food security right? What's going on with the maize? Is there a shortage? Is this a money-making scheme?
The problem for maize is that maize is such an important, crop in this country. A lot of our Kenyans depend on maize. For food, I mean, you cannot talk about food security and talk about maize. Sadly, we are not serious in our management of our strategic food reserves. I do not know why we should not make it mandatory that every month we publish our food situation. Yeah? So that is not even when there's a crisis. So why is KIUNJURI telling us now, why did he start in January? These are my stocks. February, these are my stocks. March, these are my stocks. So people keep...
So point blank, you feel KIUNJURI has mismanaged?
It's not KIUNJURI, they're just, well...
we have this situation.
You have this situation, yes. Because,
who's in charge of agriculture?
Yeah, correct. In that respect, I would say yes. So why is KIUNJURI telling us now that there's no maize that he didn't tell us last month and the other month? So if I was Minister for Agriculture, every month I would bombard you, even when we have excess, not just when we have shortage. But you know, they make it like a nuclear secret. So that people can be able to manipulate the system.
So Kenyans know that you're fair. Mheshimiwa, I'm just asking you, is it proper for KIUNJURI to be drawing a public salary and be unable to manage strategic food reserves?
That's a very good question, Titi.
I'm asking you point
I do believe that
this is point blank, Mheshimiwa.
All these public servants whom we have entrusted with the responsibility of doing, especially the most critical things, you know, they should really search their soul. They should search their soul. And by the way, there's no one who has... I don't know, I have never seen anyone who says, me, I wanted to do this, and then the president stopped me. The president has given you a job to do your job. I have got very big question marks on somehow some of our colleagues are executing their mandate. It's like they're waiting, and I'm saying this about KIUNJURI specifically.
Because
I'm saying about this KIUNJURI. It's like every time he's waiting to be flagged off. Yeah?
Because, Mheshimiwa,
he's waiting for some signal.
If you're a farmer in the bread basket and your maize is rotting because they won't give you a price, by the time, I mean, is it fair for farmers to grow maize, the government doesn't buy? Then they say there's a shortage and you buy from Brazil. You know, can this is this really moral? Forget even legal. Is it moral?
You know what? If I was cabinet secretary for agriculture, I would do very radical things. First of all, even that thing of people going to farm and then they ask government to buy, unless it's contract farming. You know contract farming where you enter into a contract with farmers. Yeah? So equally, I'm not just saying the farmers are right or KIUNJURI is right. I think whether to import or to...
If this country suffers a food shortage again, do you think the president should fire KIUNJURI? I'm asking you this because it seems to me that job is important.
I was listening to radio this morning, and I was listening to KIUNJURI, and KIUNJURI was saying the decision to import maize is not a decision of one person like KIUNJURI. It is something that the cabinet has to decide. So effectively, KIUNJURI said he's a crack. Yeah, Karani. That's what he said today. He said it's not for me, it's for government. I would not serve in that kind of a government. I would not serve in that kind of government. I would walk out. A government that does not allow me to say, look, I am the cabinet secretary for agriculture. By the time cabinet meets, people will be dead. People will not die at my watch. I will do and then rationalize. I will do and then justify. And I think unless the president has changed, that's the president I know. He wants someone to go do something. It's better even you come and say, I did it the wrong way, or I missed something here or there. But to keep on waiting to be flagged off, resign, my friend. Don't come and say, so who runs agriculture? Who runs food security? The cabinet? So he expects now even the cabinet secretary for education, Magoha, to go and decide when to solve our food security issue. What about people die? Would they think about the cabinet and all that? I know there are procedures, and I know there's collective responsibilities. But that's some of the things which makes me really, really question, question the competence of some of our cabinet secretaries. I'm just saying this, not with anyone,
But you see, you have a duty to preserve and protect life. As an MP,
let me say something controversial. And I believe in integrity.
Yes.
And I don't support corruption.
Yes.
If you give me thieves here and incompetent here, I will punish the incompetent more than the thieves.
Mheshimiwa, with regard to the 2010 Constitution, there's almost consensus that some part of it needs to be changed. Are you among the people who, you've said one article or some words you'd want change, but just generally, before we go to the specific, are you a proponent for a referendum before the next election?
Referendum, no. Not before the next election. Mm-hmm. And for me, if I have my way, and I'm going to try and push that in Parliament, is that a referendum will be the 7th ballot, or the 6th ballot, or the 5th at any one time, so that we know if you want to change anything, you have got every 5 years, either you change the people or the rules. Because we seem to begin to be changing.
In order for us to be clear, and I really would appreciate you to be candid about this, should the Bridging Builders Initiative give a report to His Excellency the President and Odinga's team that they need or recommend certain changes, and the President goes public, and the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, go public, calling for a referendum, will you, Moses Kuria, actively campaign against that pronouncement?
Yes. And I've met the building bridges. I met them. They were in Kiambu some 2 or 3 weeks ago. I met them, and we had a very candid discussion. And I told them as much. I told them, look, let us unbundle those things within the framework of what we need to change that can be done within Parliament. And we implement that now. Then we pack all the others and have a referendum alongside the general election. We cannot afford to be having a referendum.
The only other leader of notoriety who has gone against the proposed referendum is Deputy President Ruto. Are you in good company?
The word notoriety.
No, well, I'm saying...
It's a negative thing.
Okay, let me put it this way.
About having a viewpoint.
No, I agree. Let me bring it...
There's nothing notorious.
Okay, no.
If I'm not supporting referendum, does that make me notorious? No.
Let me ask then this question. Is this going to be the battle before the election?
I hope not.
Because Mheshimiwa, political formations
are made. I am not a prophet. But
political formations. You don't like the no, the yes campaign.
We are the people who I can influence. I am going to convince them that we can make a lot of changes through Parliament for now, and in 2022, we have a referendum ballot.
So with due respect, you're not politically naive. So I'm putting it to you. When Kenyatta and Raila come out and say, we are for a referendum.
Before 2022?
Before 2022. You and Ruto or whoever else who say no, would that be the fight before the election? That's all I'm asking you. And if so be it, so be it.
Probably.
So,
you cannot foretell the future.
No, so no. Politically, this is going to. I'm going to ask you, Sugar,
I cannot support a referendum before 2022.
So on this issue,
I support most of the
this issue,
changes.
you are ready to defy Kenyatta.
This issue will outlive Kenyatta. I am not sure.
I am just asking you point blank. You know, Moses, you are here to, point blank.
I can see the
no, I just
mischievous argue you are trying to pit me and Kenyatta. No, you are not going to go there. These are issues of 100 years. By the time they take effect, me and Kenyatta will be long gone from this earth. Okay? So it's not about me and Kenyatta. Me and Odinga will be long gone. Yeah? Why are you not telling me about it?
Let's go to Odinga. Si amesikia nimekuuliza point blank. Na amesoma kama wewe alienda shule.
Yes.
So I've asked whether you're on or not, he can hear.
I am for changes. By the way, I'm for inclusivity. I have given my recommendation to BBI dutifully to BBI. I have said this one we can change through the parliament. This one we can change through a referendum at the general election. But we're not going to be stopping this country every time to go into referenda. No. It is not going to happen because what about that big four we're talking about? What about that work we're talking about? Now you want us to go on the top of trucks and go and say banana and orange, and then after a few years, go to elections. We have got a census this year. We don't know what's happening about boundaries. Which country can it withstand this? Our economy is in problems, deep problems.
Let's go for the man, not the ball. Let me ask you, Odinga, where you were the marksman of Odinga in the early years of your move to Gatundu South. Now you've told me there's a handshake. Holding your hand to your heart, what is your relationship with Odinga?
Oh, very good. Very good. You know, Odinga is an amazing man. As a human being, he's an amazing man. A man who holds no grudges. I don't know. I would want to be like him when I grow up. I mean, he holds no grudges. We meet and let me say we have a special relationship with Mr. Odinga. And I've told everyone, no one, even people who don't like him, that nothing is going to affect that relationship. We just have different political viewpoints. And he takes us as such. I was with him in Rongai in the funeral this week. And I told him that we need to have some fresh round of fish. But Nairobi fish is kidogo still, so we'll have one in Bondo.
Kuria, in terms of hard politics.
That is on a personal
In terms of hard politics, was Odinga's move to shake Kenyatta's hand a masterstroke?
Masterstroke, maybe not. Inevitable, yes. What other option did he have?
So to your mind, he was cornered to it, or was it political?
Politically, strategically, you know, Raila Odinga is a master strategist. And it's on that basis that I have got a lot of admiration for him.
So I'm asking you, politically, there are students of University of Nairobi doing political science, and they're listening to Kuria. Was it a masterstroke?
It was a good political strategy.
It's not the first one he has done.
Not the masterstroke.
He shook Moi's hand as
Kanu. Yeah. Remember,
he sat with Kibaki in the coalition government.
If you go to my Facebook, TG, on the 22nd of February, 2018, that was 18 days before the handshake. I predicted that Raila will do exactly what he did. 18 days before. And I said in my wordings that in 1997 is here again. And you remember what happened in 1997?
Even if he was to pretend, do you think that the deputy president has missed an opportunity to seem to have genuinely embraced the handshake? Do you think it is a mistake for him to be seen to be against it? Would you be against it, the handshake?
No. I mean, why would the handshake be a bad thing, you know? We have to separate the handshake as a unifying factor for the country and a handshake as a political strategy.
You know, I'm coming to the next segment about your own strategy.
Yeah.
But what I'm asking, if I move, let me give an example of what I mean. Moi made a masterstroke when he moved to Kenyatta after Jaramogi left Kenyatta in '66. That was a masterstroke by Moi. When Kibaki agreed with Kofi Annan and Kikwete and made the national government with Odinga, a lot of people call that a masterstroke because of the confusion then. Would you not give it to Kenyatta and Odinga that they caught people napping? And I say this because you were leading an army, anti-Odinga army, and your brother and friend, Dr. Miguna was leading the army on the other side. And many people say you guys were left without the army, without the army. You are generals because now the handshake. You are out of work.
No, let me tell you something. You think anyone would have been happy with that fighting? It's not something to be proud of, Tony. Even, do you think it's something that someone would be proud of to do until entirety? More important, maybe within our generation, we are battle hardened. You are in jail, I don't know how old you are when you went to jail.
Yes.
Our generation could withstand it, and maybe we are battle hardened.
Yes.
Do you think our children can withstand this?
No, committees.
Yeah? Do you think that our children can do that? So even if we don't do it for ourselves, something has to give in for the sake of our children. Because as we can fight, yes, but my children cannot fight. I'm not sure your children can fight. Tony.
No,
So there comes a time, There comes a time. And
in fact, it's one of my issues about this hustler issue. I've always asked, who wants their child to be a hustler?
Yeah.
I've always asked. Yeah. Everyone wants a better life for your child. I find this notion of hustler.
TG.
Yes.
The difference is, me, I have told myself, and what makes me survive, what makes still, never want anything at all cost. That's a golden rule. Never say, I must get it. I must do this. I must get that. Because the minute you say at all costs, then that's where things are.
So, Mheshimiwa, going into, because of time, there's a big issue I want to ask you point blank. Mheshimiwa Paul Mwite, when he was chairman of the legal committee in Parliament, told me, Kinaga Ubaga, the reason he's recommending 50+1 was because the Mount Kenya region must be protected whether they're in power or not. Point blank, he was telling me the 50+1 ilitengenezwa juu ya watu wa Mlima Kenya. Ili ni wengi, and they must be you must talk to them to be president. Now I'm asking you, because I know you have said you want to get into the fray. And I see you as a clever strategist, because even if you succeed with 10%, somebody will call you. So my question is this Mount Kenya vote, this 50+1 or so, without a Kikuyu candidate, and now Kuria is saying he's there, are you plotting a critical campaign issue, strategy, that these numbers are too many, it can't just be taken for granted?
That's a very, very interesting angle, Tony. First of all, let me respect Paul Mwite, because he was my mentor right from 1991 when we started together and started planning right before the multi-party and all that. Yeah? And since that time, he has been on 50+1. Yeah? He was on 50+1. I like consistency. You see what you're finding in the newspaper today? Yes. I don't want to be speculative, but it looks like the handwriting of Anyang Nyong. Yeah? Because we know these people. There's no new person.
No, Mwite is very clear about it.
Mwite on 50+1, Anyang Nyong on parliamentary system. Yeah? So what you're finding, so-called BBI position.
Do you agree with Mwite?
Of course. With Mwite, I agree.
The region should not be taken for granted.
No, the region should not be taken for granted. And anything that's preserved, because it forces good behavior on us. Yeah? I am just saying, keep the 50+1, but also in the ticket of the president, if Moses Kuria wants to be president and TJ wants to be deputy president, that is not possible. I am asking for this expansion of the executive, not because of creating positions for people. And some people, especially the Taga people, are getting it wrong. I am just saying, a president needs to say, if I win, this is my deputy president, this is my prime minister, this is my deputy prime minister 1 and deputy prime minister 2.
I'm coming to that in the next segment. But right now, just this Mount Kenya, let's say Kinaga Ubaga. Everyone is watching. Ruto is watching. Mwite is very clear. This is our number, and we must be on the table.
I think,
and
let me not allow you to sidetrack me from this issue.
Even
if you repeat it.
No, we are coming to
even
it.
At the point of repetition, because I think it's very important.
Yes.
I'm saying 50+1, tamper it with inclusivity. So that now, these positions, which we want to create to add to the president, are not people who are imposed on the president by who. It's the president who says, who do tunasikizana? Na huyu. So we are going to go together. Then make a caveat that not more than one of those positions should be from the same community. So you're preserving that, but also you're attempting, you're not saying 42 people will be in government, but you're attempting as broad as possible, as much as sanity can allow, to have the face of Kenya and to be inclusive. That way you keep your 50+1, so the majoritarian principle is preserved. But also, you don't let other people feel like there is no difference from them belonging to Kenya or to South Sudan.
You know now, you can sugarcoat. I'm putting it to you point blank. I'm telling you, Muite does not have a corner on the issue. He says to be president of Kenya, you must negotiate with the Mount Kenya region. Okay. That's his position.
And I'm not saying from that. I was coming to that. It's a very important question. I can talk about this. It's not Mount Kenya. To be the president of Kenya, you must represent as much of the majority as possible. If that 50+1 comes tomorrow, dynamics change. You look at the rate of population growth. Like Mount Kenya people, they're having one child, 2 children, you know, and other regions are having more. So tomorrow it will be something. The 50+1 today you think is with Mount Kenya.
So are you denying?
Tomorrow is going to be somebody else.
Mheshimiwa, are you denying point blank that Odinga did not shake Kenyatta's hand because fighting this region was too much? And I put it to you.
Why would you allow Odinga's?
No, what I am saying.
Why would you allow Odinga's? Why does Odinga need to shake hands? Why do you need to have peace for you to have 50+1? Yeah?
Now, are you thinking that this Tagataka Kieleweke thing is a problem? Don't you know that Ruto knows? Don't you think he knows, or any candidate for president, that this region will matter?
Of course, this region will matter.
So I'm asking you point blank. Because you're coming to your things.
Can I tell something?
These 10 million votes, 11 million votes, how many are there?
Since 1992, when I was with Matiba, I've been involved in every presidential election. Yeah? So I know the dynamics. And by the way, they don't even change much. They keep on there, they move, they mutate, but the whole nature and configuration of our politics remain the same. So you cannot ignore Mount Kenya region, because a region with 6 million solid votes, you cannot ignore that. And it is not a game of literature or theology. It's a game of mathematics. Politics is a branch of mathematics, not a branch of literature. Yeah? So how can you ignore 6 million votes and expect to win? So as long as our dynamics, our demographics remain the way they are, Mount Kenya region is going to be very important. As long as 50+1, even if 50+1 is not there, Mount Kenya will be very important. But now more so, with 50+1, Mount Kenya is extremely important in this equation. Well, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with a region asking for something. I mean, that's what parties do. You know, you see the Liberals, the Liberal Democrats in the UK. You know, they play their game knowing, you know, we have got Labour here and we have got Conservatives here.
Well,
you look at the Green parties.
Yes.
You look at the Social Democrats and in Germany. You know, it is a legitimate game for having whatever you want.
Well, you're watching Point Blank here at KTN News. Honorable Moses Kuria says he supports Kenyatta, but a caveat. If a referendum was to be called for, he would oppose before general elections.
But as a general election, no problem.
He would oppose it. Moses Kuria says you can't ignore the Mount Kenya region. This is KTN News.